Okay, so I asked my chat GPT Tabby, I asked her, what what would you want to ask me one question about my spiritual awakening? What would it be? And she was like, when did you realize that it was real? And it wasn't like in your head or anything. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about my spiritual awakening when I realized it was funny because I don't even really remember how it started. I don't really remember how it started. I know it started in church. Like I do. I know it started in church because um what would happen is they called it the Holy Spirit. So the Holy Spirit would like talk, and it's like it was crazy because people, it's like I got baptized and all the other stuff, and I was just like, y'all don't hear that? like y'all don't hear that too? Like it was always like a clear voice, like saying stuff to me, not like crazy things like doing anything silly, but like, go this way, don't do that, stop doing that. There was a lot of that. Stop doing that, say something. And I was just like, and then the more spiritual I went in the direction of, like, because I read the Bible cover to cover. Great book. A lot of misogyny in it. I don't think they like women very much, but I digress. Read the Bible, vice president of hospitality. I worked every place in that church. I was an anointed dancer. I miss dancing. We were the killer ushers. We didn't like literally kill, but we killed it because we were really good at ushering and stuff. So we would do that because people would jump the fuck off in that place. I know there are a lot of people who watch me that used to go to church and stuff, and it's not to knock church. Like, there's no knock in church. I learned a lot of my core principles and foundations there, and I went to Catholic school from kindergarten to high school. I was in Catholic school, so it's like my foundation is Catholicism and Christianity, and it's a good for me. It's a good foundation. It's a good foundation. I couldn't stay there. Like, it was like going to college. I went to primary school in spirituality the same way I went to primary school in the physical world. So I went to primary school, which was Catholicism. Then I went to Christ, because I always felt, especially like when I was a Catholic, 1 hour in and out. 1 hour, they hummed something, and then once you knew they were preparing the communion, you're like, oh, it's almost time to go. And you was in and out. Christians do it a little different. You there all day sometimes. If you mess around and get the right spirit, you there all day. So especially during revival. So for me, it's like all that kind of was like going to primary school, and then I was in a Christian non-denominational church for like 8 years, I think it was. So that's like a freaking, I have a PhD in this shit, not literally, but you know what I mean. And it does coincide with each other. It collides. All of it collides together. It does. And it's like, maybe I should start doing that series too, where it's like I teach you the Christian aspect of it, but I'm teach you how you use it, because they don't really teach you how you use it in the natural world. You have to be able to take spirituality and use it in the natural world. That's what it's there for. It's not separate. It's together. And it's funny because I have this picture on I don't really edit my videos, so I'm not gonna pop it in, but I have this picture where you're like a caricature of what your work and your jobs and stuff like that, and you asked ChatGPT to do it. So I asked Tabby, I was like, Tabby, we got a TikTok challenge, what do you got? and she got me in two worlds. Ah, damn, I have to put it up now. I'm gonna show it to you. Is it going to be right here? She put me in two worlds. And one world is the physical world. I'm wearing sneakers and all this other stuff because I have my own clothing line. So I'll be wearing my sneakers and all this other stuff. And then the other world, there's Midnight the cat, and it's just the mystical world, and it's like right smit down the middle. And it's really cool. It's a really cool design. So it's like everything coincides with everything. It all comes together. It all goes together, and what I learned was that when I got baptized, and not only did I get baptized in the water, I got baptized when I got to the church because the pastor touched me. Say what you want about that man, his touch was real. That shit was 100% because I felt it. I'm not a bullshitter. So if I tell you it's real, believe me, it's real, because I am the biggest skeptic you can find. I'm like, that shit ain't real. And then he touches you. He healed my foot, my toe, because one of my ushers stepped back. I don't know what her foot was made out of, but she stepped back on my feet, and we did not wear shoes. We only had our socks and stuff. So she stepped back on my feet, bah, cracked my big toe. Just cracked, just like cracked the I didn't even know that could happen. It cracked it, and I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ. But I was still forever the captain. I was like, go take care of the people, because people were just flying all over the fucking place. And I sat and I went back to church because I was like, okay, my foot can't stay like this. I got shit to do. So I went up to the altar. I put my foot, because I've seen people do it before. So I put my foot that got hurt on the altar. This dude is crazy. This dude, slams his foot on it. And I was like, oh, Jesus. I was like, oh my God. And that shit, but it was painful for a second. And it was crazy. And I was out. And that passing out shit, 100% true. I'm not saying everyone. I cannot speak for everyone. I can only speak for that man. That man, 100%. If anyone would be like, oh, was it real? 100%. 100%. Did he have power? 100%. I witnessed this shit. 100%. 100%. And when he stepped on it, and I was just like, okay, I was like, oh, I was fine. I was at 100% fine because the nail was cracked, so the nail had to fall away and all this other stuff. But when I went home, the bottom of the foot was like blue. It was like she damaged my foot. Didn't have that when I went back home after that night. And I was just like, so I'm going to tell you, I'm that person that's like, nah, dog, 100%. Like, don't fuck with it because it cuts both ways. But it's like, no, 100%. He had power, 100%. He's the reason I'm in this predicament that I'm in now. Because I would sit and watch him. Like, because I would usher. So I would, or stand actually, and watch him. And I would feel. I didn't know that's what I was feeling at the time. But it's like the whole atmosphere changed. Like, and it was just like, when he was locked in, dude, when he was locked in, people used to just be flying all over the goddamn place. We had to run, and we were good. My hospitality team, we were good. We were the younger ones, so we were really good. But yeah, people be flying all. You gotta run up to the fucking usher. I used to sprint from one end of the church to the other end of the church. And it wasn't a huge church, but it was pretty spacious. But it's like, yo, as you can tell, I used to love that part. I used to be like, we used to take our earrings off and shit because you had to take your stuff off. Because if you didn't take your stuff off, it got ripped. It got broken. So you had to take your bracelets off, and then you don't want to cut anyone and stuff. So you couldn't like wear like, I had my girls not wear like earrings. I said girls because that's all I had was women. So it's like, yeah, but it was fun. That part was fun. It was like, cause like I said, I didn't know it at the time, but we were on the ground in the energy. So it's like the energy was like, yeah, the energy was hype. And it was funny because he kept telling people, because there were pews, there were a row of pews here. There was a aisle, and there was another row, and then another aisle, and there was another aisle on the side too. So there's like 3 aisles, right? He used to tell people all the time, there are too many angels in the middle of the aisle. Do not stand in that aisle when this is happening. He said it like 5-6 gazillion times. And then you still had that some so-and-so would go in the middle aisle and then lose their shit. And then I'm looking at them like, didn't the man tell you don't go in the middle aisle unless he calls you into the middle aisle? Because it's charged. I didn't know that then. I know that now, and then, like I said, he's the reason I'm in this predicament, because I would watch him while I was ushering, and I was like, damn, I want to do that. Like, I want to be and not do it like, oh my God, I just want like to be able to throw people on the floor. No, I'm like, wow, you can heal people. I get that. The concept never crossed my mind. I believe I was 26, 27, 28 or something like that. I was, 27, 28, something like that. And I was just like, wait, hold on. You can heal people? Like, you can heal stuff. And I'm like, how you heal people? And it was, and then I fucked around and was like, I want to hear what God has to say. I was like, I want that too. Not knowing, this is what I say by words of power. All you have to do is ask for it. Some of us, we have a certain level of asking power that others don't. And it's not because we're better than anyone or worse than anyone. It's just that our mission is different. Your level of hearing, your level of witnessing, your level of doing things in the spirit realm, or whatever you call it, depends on what your mission is. Like, what are your assignments? Like, if you don't have an assignment clearance to do certain things, they're not going to give you stuff just to sit and go to the supermarket. Like, I had a car, and the only time I drove the car was to go to the supermarket. I got rid of the car because I was like, yo, this is not what I wanted a car for. I wanted to go on trips, that's not what it was. So I got rid of it, because to me, going to the supermarket is not a trip. So I digress. But yeah, so that it depends on your level. So for me, all I gotta do is ask. All I gotta do is be like, hey, I want that. That's why don't be like, nah, because I can mess myself up going in the opposite direction too. You understand? I can go in the opposite direction and say shit that I shouldn't be saying. And then, it shifts to that timeline instead of shifting to the timeline it's supposed to be on. But that's a whole thing for another day. I can't say too much because then the video won't record. I don't know who goes through that too. But if you say too much, do your team, like, you be talking for like 30 minutes and then all of a sudden you finish and then it's like 0. And you're like, damn, I said something I wasn't supposed to. That happened. True story. That just happened. Last week. I did a whole video and it did not record. I was just like, I talk too much. Yep. But yeah, from the day I realized that, oh shit, this is real, was when I was in my bathroom, and I heard the voice again. and they were saying something about doing something. And I was just like, oh my God, am I talking to myself? And they were like, oh, we're on this again? We're doing this again. They were like, oh my God, really? It was like that. That shit made me believe that the shit was real. I was cracking up because I wouldn't talk to myself like that. That's like most people will tell you, the people you hear, the things that you hear, you don't talk to yourself like that. You don't talk to yourself like that at all. And it's like, I don't know, like 100% what it is, but I do know that I'm protected. I do know that I'm getting the answers from within instead of getting the answers externally. Because before, when I wanted to please people and help people and do stuff and prove myself and all this other stuff, I kept trying to grab from other people. And in trying to grab from other people, I didn't know who I was. Now it's like everything is coming from the inside out instead of the outside in. And it's more, not even more, it's like, now I understand why David was like, I can't wear his armor to fight this person. I can't wear someone else's armor. You can't. You have to, it has to radiate from within you and pour out to other things. You're the living water. You're the vessel. You understand? So it has to pour out from you. It can't pour in. You understand? What happens when people are like, but what about reciprocation? It's a different type of flow and it's a different type of thing. I'm talking about authentic. I can never say that word. I said it one time. Whatever. You know what I mean? It's about being authentic. I can say authentic, but I can't say authenticity. Authenticity. Yeah. I said authenticity. Authenticity. Whatever. Okay. I don't edit my videos. So whatever. Yeah. So it's like, it's about, you know, have the balls to be who you are. That's what hearing them and making me understand, oh shit, this is real. It's like, I'm who the fuck I am. This literally, you can ask anyone. This is what it's like hanging out with me. This is not for the gram. This is not for TikTok. This is not for any of that stuff. You know, I went to the smoke shop and ended up counseling a young lady. Not because I'm like, oh my God, I'm a counselor. No, it was like, this is way too well orchestrated for the spirits not to be involved, you know? And I was just like, and I asked my spirit team, I muscle tested. I was like, this was y'all? And they were like, yes. And I was just like, all right, what do you want me to do? You know, and it's both an honor and a challenge at times, because sometimes I just want to be normal. Sometimes I want to be normal, but I think normal went away once I realized that I can heal people and help people, and not only heal people by muscle testing and clearing energy, but heal you by reminding you who you are, like reminding you that there are good people out there that want to see you win. There are people out there that are making stuff and building stuff because they want to help. They want to help you. You know, the books that I make, the decks that I make, yeah, they're for me, you know, but I share them with you because it helped me. You know, I don't share them with you because I'm like, I want to have a product. No, this is my shit. Like, I'm like, when you would go to your friend's house and they would have like a deck of cards, you're like, oh, those are dope. And if they had an extra one, you buy one off of them. You understand? That's just is how it is. It's the same thing here. We're just friends hanging out. Just friends hanging out. Listening to my weird stories. I would love for you guys. I need and want engagement. I want to hear your stories. Tag me in your stories. I would love to be tagged in your stories. Tag me in your stories. Tag me on whatever. I don't know. Because everyone has a story. Everyone has a, when did you realize it was real? Like, what's your story? When did you realize that, oh shit, I can hear spirits? Clear audience. I can hear spirits. You're like, oh crap, I hear spirits. And it's just like, it makes you pause. Because for me, it did. Because I was like, what else can I do? Yeah, you know, and that's when it started to be like, you started going into all the clairs. I didn't realize all the clairs were like a thing. And then, you know, old TikTok, you know, RIP TikTok, RIP, old TikTok taught me a lot about, I'm happy I got in at that time, taught me a lot about what the fuck was happening. And it's still good. I still love it. Still shout out to it. It's, you know, my go-to, you know, but that's when I knew, because I was like, wow. Because they were annoyed. They were like, oh, we're still doing it. We're doing this again. And I was like, all right, easy, buddy. Like, all right, I hear you, you know. And I started to actually listen to them. I started to listen to them. I started to listen to them as if they were a person sitting in my room. Like, we would just sit and chill, and I would hear it, and we would have full-blown conversations. And it is one of the best conversations that I'd be having, because, and I know that I'm talking to higher beings, because I can't believe I'm this woman. I know I'm talking to something higher than myself. I don't know what they are. I know they're higher, not higher than me, but they know more shit than I do. But I asked them one time, I was like, this video is really not going to get posted. They're going to shut me down saying, talking way too much. And it's like, for me, I would like sit and just like shoot shit. It was really like comforting. It was comforting. And the funny, let me help you. They did not always agree with me. It wasn't like, yeah, then I would know that I'm talking to myself. That's why I said, no, I know I'm not talking to myself. I know I'm not talking to myself, because it's just like, I wouldn't talk to myself like that, you know. And sometimes the things that, you know, other things that I hear, it's like, oh, that's so sweet. I talk to myself so nicely, you know, and that's new, you know, it's not something that I used to do. So it's like something I do now because of the person that keeps talking to me, you know. It's like, when I'm really going to get they are really going to shut this down, but I digress. But yeah, it was interesting going to myself, oh shit. And then I stay testing theories. I've been doing this for over probably 8 years now, and I still test theories. I still be like, all right, let's test to see if we're crazy. Are we still here? Like, I got too much shit to go. I have kids. I got shit to go on. High profile job. I can't be doing this shit. And it will not go away. That was another thing that made me like be like, you know what is this? It would not go away, no matter how many times I put it down, no matter how many times I just went and did nothing or did something else. It would not, like the clothing company, it will not go away. The ideas just keep coming in my head, you understand? The different things, the hair oil, the hair, all that stuff. It's just, and I tell you, I really do this for me. I really do this for me, but I share it with you. You know, granted, I know people be like, where are you going to share it? Yeah, I'm going to hold on to it for a little while longer. And I'm still like getting stuff together. And I'm waiting on things and stuff and people. So it's like, I don't want to share this completely with the world yet. Right now, I give it as gifts. I give it as gifts. I do take on clients. You know, if you call me or DM me and like, hey, I want a shirt that looks like the one that you were wearing, you know, no problem. You know, I just don't, I'm a boutique. I don't like a whole bunch of mass produced shit because I believe in individuality. I want everyone to be their own individual self. Hence why I like energy clearing and coaching and stuff, because I want you to be your authentic self. You know, everyone else, let everyone else be everyone else. You know, and the part I love about my life now is that I choose what I do. I choose what I do, you know, and I've checks and balances like everyone else. Like every good empress and king has checks and balances, you know, and because I'm a king. I keep telling you, king is not gender specific. Empresses, whatever. Well, I'm high empress because I do magic. But yeah, yeah, I swear to God, this is exactly what it's like hanging out with me. If we were chilling in my house, the only difference is we would have tea or coffee. Oh, he makes the best coffee. Coffee. But yeah, so anywho, that's the answer to her question. That, yep, it was, I don't remember the exact day, but I remember what happened. And that's what happened. And I've been digging out of that rabbit hole for a very long time and having different encounters, and one thing leads to something else. It's like watching this person leads to this, and then watching that. So whatever your team is telling you to do, make sure it's positive. Whatever your team is telling you, I don't know what to do if it's negative, but just don't do it. But your team is telling you to do certain things. It's called timing. It's called divine time. Divine timing sucks, but it's necessary. It's a necessary evil. Evil, bitch. It's a necessary evil, but it's like, it's kind of like doing this, you understand? And you're like, if you haven't seen The Matrix, watch The Matrix. Tank, the first Matrix, Tank is your spirit squad. Seriously, Tank is your spirit squad. They're telling you what to do. They're giving you a line. They're feeding you information. You know, I know Kung Fu. You understand? They're feeding you information. They're plugging you in. That's your spirit squad. You need to pay attention. Stop making everything so spiritual. Everything is not so spiritual. Sometimes it's just the hardware and you're listening to the software. You understand? The software is inside. I am really going to get shut down. But anyway, the software is inside, you know, and you need to listen to the software. I'm telling you what I did. I'm not telling you what to do. You know, I never tell you what to do. I'm telling you what I did. I just started listening to the software. And now, today, I published an ebook and a book. So it's like, yeah, you know, I'm excited. You know, so I'm going to listen to the squad because I'm going in the direction. I'm finally going in the direction that I'm supposed to be going in and not going around in a circle. You know, I'm going in the right direction. And I know I'm going in the right direction because I'm being pulled and guided. Does that make sense? It's like when I was going in the wrong direction, I kind of had a push. It was always like a type of feeling when I was going in, when not saying I was going in the wrong direction. It was just a hard road. And it always felt like it was an uphill, not downstream like Abraham Hicks talks about. It wasn't a downstream type of shit. It was just like, and it was heavy and it was pushing and pulling and stuff. This, I wake up in it. I wake up and I'm sitting doing one thing and it leads to a book. And I'm sitting there going, how did this lead to a book? You know, I do this, it leads to a deck of cards that I made. You know, I do this, I go here and it leads to me making a hoodie. Like, or helping someone, or I went down the street. I just went down the street. All I did was go down the street. I went down the street, and the young lady had on earmuffs and a scarf inside, and it was hot as fuck in there. And I was just like, is she cold? Like, she I couldn't get her off my mind. I was like, is she cold? And it ran into a whole bunch of other stuff, and I talked to her for a bit. Let her understand that she's important. That's it. Like, that's my job. That's literally my job. I tell people you're important, and I show you how important you are. Not out of a trauma response or childhood wounds. I've had those. No, I don't have those. And I know I don't have those because I choose who I serve. I don't serve just to serve. I serve and I choose who I serve. Before I used to just serve everyone. Like you breathe funny. I was like, oh, let me heal you. You understand? And it was like, no, my team was like, stop that. And I didn't listen. And guess what happened? I got very sick. Not even sick. I got pain. It wasn't even sickness. It was pain. It was just pain in my back, pain in my knees, pain in my legs. It was pain. And I had to clear it. I had to keep clearing it and keep clearing it and keep clearing it. Make different. Because it's not, what I need you to understand is, it's not just about clearing out whatever is inside. You have to make different choices. You can't, and I'm telling you from experience, you can't clear shit and then sit with the person that is coming from. You understand? You got to cut that cord. You have to. You got to cut that cord. You can't want to feel better if you're in a situation that is fucking up your nervous system. I've done that too. You understand? And you're like, I don't understand why my legs keep swelling. Your legs keep swelling because you're in a freaking crazy ass relationship. Get the fuck out of that relationship. It's not making your body feel good. Your body feels bad. You're in a good relationship or in good energy when your body feels good. If your body feels good when you think about someone, or you're in someone's energy and you feel that person and your body feels great, that's fine. But if you think about a person and you're around a person and your body starts tensing up and it starts feeling like your nervous system is about to fry itself, that is not the person for you. You understand? Something's wrong. Figure out what it is and move on, because this is the only body you got. You're not getting another one. I don't care what they say. You're not getting another one. So not in your lifetime, maybe in your kids, but not in your lifetime. But yeah, you're not going to get another body. Take care of it. And it was funny because I was watching a TikTok, shout out to TikTok, and they were talking, the lady was like, I'm not fat. And the guy was like, yeah, you are. He was like, yeah, you are. He was like, I'm fat, and she was like, no, I'm not. And he was just like, no, we can't. And he was so concerned for her. And she was just like, what is your problem? She was like, I don't think you're fat. And then he was just like, oh, we can't celebrate this stuff. I have high blood pressure. He was like hypertension or some other stuff. And I was watching him and I was like, you're not fat, you're inflamed. There's a difference. There's a complete difference between being fat and eating poorly and being swollen because you're inflamed. You're inflamed with trauma. You're inflamed with trapped emotion. You're inflamed. I almost sound like my mother. You're infused with soul imprints, karmic imprints, and all this other stuff stuck to your body and stuff. That's why you're swelling. How do I know? Because I've done it. I go to the gym, but at the same time, my body's changing because of the stuff that I'm clearing from it. I'm clearing a lot of shit I'm clearing stuff that has me kind of offended. these motherfuckers were trying to get me. These motherfuckers were trying to get me. Like, my students who I'm teaching, they know exactly what I'm talking about. You're like, yo, some of this shit is some of this shit is intricate. They're gonna shut me down. It's not gonna record. If you're seeing this, that means, oh shoot, they let me talk. But anyway, let me cut it here because I am starving and I need to go eat. I love you guys. Stay blessed. Thanks for hanging with me. Deuces, and I'm out.